kind of a topic that I know Leroy's been wanting to talk about for a while now. Something that is a really big deal in comics these days and makes a really big difference for a lot of people is, whether you care to hold a physical copy of the book in your hands while you're reading it, or if you're willing to just buy it digitally and just have it on, on your phone or your tablet or your computer and read it that way. Leroy, like I said, I know that this is something that you've been looking to talk about for a while. Where do you stand on that argument?
I am strictly Diggly.
Who's a what? Strictly digital?
Yes.
You and your terms. No, why do you like digital better?
Digital is awesome. I don't understand. We're in 2016 and we just don't do digital everything. I mean, when's the last time you bought a CD?
Anytime I want to listen to new music.
Okay, well, in 2017, cars are in general just going to stop even having CD players in their cars. Why? Because nobody uses them. Everybody goes digital. Everybody has their phone. Everybody has MP3 players. Everybody has something where, CDs are pretty much the thing of the past. They're going in the way of 8-tracks. Music artists don't even bother even trying to promote CDs anymore. They want you to get this stuff on Spotify or iTunes, stuff like that. So music has already made the transition. Let's go to movies. Now, movies, every time you buy a Blu-ray disc, they also have like these ultraviolet codes in them. So you put the movie in, you got your codes, you can put the codes anywhere. You can watch them on your computer, you can watch them on your phone, you can watch them on your tablet. So we got movies, we got music. Why the hell we haven't gone comic books yet? Comic books, you put them on digital, you can read them anywhere. If you have a tablet, you can read it there. Phone, you read it there. I've even snuck away at work, and when the boss isn't paying attention, pull them up on my desktop and read it from Comixology right then. Why? Because I can do that. If I just bring a comic book in front of me and just read Superman 49 in front of my boss, of course, it's going to pull me in the office. But if I walk by and he sees it on my desktop, I can just hit minimize. I don't have to worry about those things. So I don't understand why would you not go digital instead of physical?
Well, now I love comics for the stories, and that is probably I'd say at least 80% of why I buy comics is the story, but that other 20% is I like to collect things. And the biggest thing that I've been collecting for the last few years is comic books. I like having a shelf or two shelves of short boxes in my dining room or whatever that I can I go to the comic book shop every Wednesday. I drive 40 minutes to get there and buy my books and drive 40 minutes home, so that I can read the comics in my hands and then put them in a bag and board and file them away where they go in my boxes. And as the short boxes on the shelves fill up, I buy long boxes and file them away in the long boxes and put those in my closet upstairs. So I've got boxes and boxes and boxes of these comics that are my collection. It's a physical representation of not only the stories that I've read, but the work that I put in collecting things. A lot of things that I own are things that I've hunted down. I got really big into Valiant and specifically Bloodshot in the last couple of years, or actually the last year. And so I made it a mission to hunt down as much of the Bloodshot stuff as I could. And in the last year, it was a lot of work, but I was able to hunt down and acquire every single issue of Bloodshot that was printed back in the 90s from when the original Valiant came out. And I've got all the issues from when Acclaim took over and started printing Acclaim comics, and they made a Bloodshot series. And now I've got all the comics that they've printed since the 2012 reboot. I've got almost every single variant cover that they've printed, which is an insane number of variants that they've printed, but I've got almost every single one. And that, to me, that the hunt has been the fun part. And, going on Comixology and clicking a button and buying a comic, to me, yeah, I get to read the same story, but I don't have the same sense of accomplishment and satisfaction as I can get from hunting a comic down and, looking for something that's really hard to find, or it's generally too expensive for me to afford. And I spend the time and effort in looking and find a copy that is, within my price range and get a good deal on it. I mean, that to me is a big part of the fun of collecting.
Yeah, I guess for some people scouring the earth looking for, Bloodshot 14 is fun for them. I don't feel like doing it. If I want to read a book, I want to read it right now. Read it. I have a little bit amount of time to read this book. When it's done, delete it or save it or put it in a hard drive file or do whatever I need to do. I don't have time to look all over the place and play all these exorbitant amount of prices just for some jacked up thing for something nobody can find. Take Final Fantasy VII, for instance. I know I'm going back to video games, but it's a perfect example. Now, people used to hunt day and night to try to find that game because it was impossible to find. It was 4 discs. Even if you found all 4, it was hard. You might be missing one. And if you go to a game store to get it, it was maybe like $100 to find a digital copy. And if you did find it, it was probably messed up to begin with because it might have one little scratch, one little chip, or something wrong with it. So then what do? They went ahead and PlayStation just makes it a digital version of it for $10. I don't have to scour the earth looking for this game. I can just download it right there, 5 minutes, play it, a game that I've been trying to play for 15 years, but can't play it because I can't find it anywhere. See, I mean, that's not a selling feature for me to waste my time looking for this stuff.
But this is why I like digital comics. You know, I don't totally hate digital comics. I like the fact that digital comics exist. So someone like you who's not trying to, you know, you don't care how many long boxes you have stored away in your closet full of comic books, and that's totally cool.
I don't want long boxes in digital taking up space in my spot.
Yeah, and that's why I love digital comics. So someone like you who only wants to read the story and has no interest in building a collection, you have the option to do that. I just don't want to lose the option to continue to collect the way that makes me happy. What about you, Eli?
Yeah, we like what you think.
I mean, I do like holding a comic in my hand. But I also like digital too. I mean, digital works sometimes, especially, you know, take for instance, Walking Dead 150. That shit sold out, you know, first day. Then my comic book store put in another order. It sold out again. I couldn't find it, you know. So what I do, I downloaded it and I got to read it. You know, so I think there's advantages to having a digital copy too, but I do like, you know, I like having the comic in my hand, and I also like referring back to them. You know, if I can't remember something, I go back into the box and check it out, you know, and see what I missed or, you know, refresh my memory or whatever, you know. But yeah, I'm not knocking digital. I think I have a subscription to the Marvel Unlimited, which is basically like Netflix for Marvel Comics. And it's
like
awesome.
Almost everything on there from like 1994.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I'm going back and reading like Origin, like the, you know, books that I can't afford. I'm reading the stories. You know, I'm never gonna buy a Hulk 181, but I can go on, you know, the Marvel Unlimited and read it. You know. So that's
awesome too, because I just forgot I have the Marvel Unlimited subscription also. And sometimes I'll hear online somebody talking about this book that did that and did that. I'm like, oh, really? Well, let me just go check it out. Bam, I can just read it right there, you know?
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I love Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do the same thing. I went back and read some Deadpool, you know.
Right, because it's right there.
Yeah, I was never a big Deadpool fan, you know, coming up, but, you know, after the movie, I'll get familiar with them a little bit, you know.
No, I'm totally with you guys. I'm more of a physical guy myself. I don't own a lot of digital comics. I haven't read a lot other than, you know, advanced copies to do reviews. Other than that, I really don't read digital comics, but I do like having that service there. You know, you guys are talking about that Marvel Unlimited. There's also that, what's it called? Scribd, Scribd. And they've got, it's like $9 a month, and they've got every single Valiant comic that's older than 3 months. They have that on there for like $9, and you can read everything. And they've got way more than just Valiant, but that's what I know more about.
Okay, so Marvel has one. Valiant has one. What the hell is DC doing?
I think that there's DC stuff. I think that there might be DC stuff on Scribd. I could be wrong. I know they've got a lot of like books, like novels, like prose books. But they've also got tons and tons of comic books, and I don't know everything that's on there. Just the only time that I ever used it, I was using it to read some Valiant stuff, and then I got frustrated because I don't really like reading digital, and I stopped my subscription and just went out and found everything physical. But again, you know, that's part of the fun of collecting to me is I started reading Valiant with that story that I was talking about before, The Valiant, but just a year ago, and not even a year, it'll be a year next month that I started reading Valiant. And when I got into it, like I said, I tried to look some stuff up digitally. I didn't enjoy reading it that way. And I made it my mission to collect the entire Valiant universe. And here within the last couple of weeks, I completed my collection of the entire current Valiant universe. I have at least one copy of at least one cover of every single issue that they've released since they relaunched their publisher in 2012. And that to me felt like a huge accomplishment. And I was really happy to have done that, you know, and I wouldn't have that with digital. So that I think is the, you know, if you're someone that cares about that form of collecting, then physical is, you know, still going to be something that you're going to look for. But if you're somebody who just wants to read the stories and doesn't care about having this rare book or that rare cover or whatever, then absolutely, by all means, digital is the way to go.
It's just more convenient. I mean, if I'm on a bus or a plane, I can just have my tablet with me right there, put my headphones on. I'll tell you some really nerdy shit I do. If I'm reading a Batman comic, I'll go to Spotify and play the Batman Forever soundtrack while reading Batman. You know, seal Kiss from the Rose.
Kiss from a Rose, yeah.
Oh, man.
And I have my headphones on, and nobody knows what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here, they don't know. I might be doing a spreadsheet or something. I'm sitting here reading Batman comics. Who cares? By the time I'm done reading all the comics, bam, I'm right there at the spot where I need to be at. That's irreplaceable for me. That's why I can't go back to physical.
Yeah.
One thing I do like about digital, reading the digital comics, is that panel by panel version, because then you can like read it how the writers and artists were wanted
awesome.
to. Yeah, you read it awesome. Panel by panel.
See, I actually hate that personally.
Oh, really?
You can turn it on and off.
Yeah, you can turn it on and off, but I like how it'll even pan across the panel. Like it's almost like a movie in a way. You know, you're actually reading how the artists and writers wanted the readers to read the story and how it unfolds that way.
Yeah, it does make it a lot more cinematic doing that.
Yeah.
I got annoyed with that. I tried reading like that when I was, I think it was on Scribd, when I was trying to read digital and they had that type of thing. And I don't know, it just bugged the crap out of me. I just want to look at the page. And that's the other thing is, you know, I don't have an iPad. You know, I've got my phone pretty much, and my phone doesn't have that big of a screen.
If you do it on a phone, it's going to suck doing that.
Yeah, and not even just, you know, just reading comics at all on my phone. I do it, like I said, I do that so I can read advanced copies, and when I do reviews of comics, you know, and the only thing I have is a digital because the physical doesn't come out for a week or whatever, you know, then I'll read them on my phone, and I'll get through it and try to ignore the fact that I'm reading on my phone and just judge the comic by itself. But yeah, to me, even on a tablet, you know, even on a bigger screen, even doing it on my desktop where the, you know, monitor is, you know, I can probably make the comic bigger than the actual physical copy would be. I still would rather have the physical copy in my hand and look at it that way.
Because I specifically bought a Samsung tablet specifically just to read comics. That was the only reason I bought it.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, like I said, I think that there's pros and cons on both sides, and I'm just, the way that I like to collect and read comics, it makes more sense for me to continue collecting digitally. And, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with someone who would rather, you know, just collect and read digital. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I do want to finish off with this. Remember the Stan Lee quote that's been floating around the internet, how Stan Lee said comics are like boobs. You got to hold them in your hand.
Yeah, I've heard that,
man.
Yeah.
He didn't say that shit. Stop posting that stuff.
One drawback I like to mention about digital is, you know, well, for me, speaking for myself, you know, the struggle is real. Sometimes I'm low on funds and my internet has been shut off from time to time, which, you know, then I have no access to webs and no access to digital comics. So
no. You can still read the digital comics offline.
Yeah, if
you got them in your library. Yeah, if you got them in your library. You know.
Even Marvel online, you can read some of them. You just have to download them ahead of time. That's all.
Yeah. You can't download new ones. That's what I meant. You know.
Yeah.
Whereas you could always go to the comic shop and, hey, I mean, even if they know you well enough at the comic shop, some of them will let you sit down like a library and read stuff if they know, you know. if they know you well enough. I mean, that's probably not something you want to do all the time because they do need to make money, but at the same time, you know, there are ways to read stuff, you know. I don't know. But like I said, I think that there's the pros and the cons on both sides, and
and then another thing, how we were talking about pros and cons, we're talking about price also. A lot of times, if they do have these older books, you know, the comics stores might jack the price up. If it's a digital book, it's always going to be the same price, if not cheaper. Comixology do crackhead prices on this sometimes.
Yeah, that's
true. I bought
true.
like a sheetload of Superman books the other day because his birthday was leap year or some shit. I've never heard it before. Yeah, but yeah, it was like a crap load of books. I just went nuts and just started buying everything I could. So yeah, you're gonna see a whole bunch of Superman reviews from me in the future because I just bought a whole bunch of books I got to get caught up on.
Well, I remember that when Dark Horse was getting rid of all their Star Wars titles because Marvel was taking it over. They did this huge sale, so I went and read a bunch of shit. Yeah.
I'm just glad we have both options still, and I hope that we continue having both options, physical and digital. I would hate to see one or the other go away.
Yeah, I like them both. I do buy comics, physical comics. I like going to the store. I like looking around and browsing and shit, and you know. But I also like, you know, when I need to, I'll read some digital stuff. So I like them both. You know.